It's me again, Dr. Kingsley Oji. There are certain things we must understand about life, but I'm not going to take you through the rigors of all that. Let me take you through the rigors of one thing. It might sound like a rigor because a lot of us overlook it and need to be reminded over and over. And what's that thing? Always know in life when it's time for you to move on from something, from someone, from somewhere, or from some place. You see, in life, one of the greatest dangers we go through is overstaying our welcome. In any situation, in any place we find ourselves, there's always a deadline in every situation, in every place you find yourself, in every appointment. There's a deadline. There's nothing that ever lasts forever. A time comes, something starts, and a time comes, something ends. And in life, you need to learn this lesson. Always know when to move on from something. You're in a relationship. While some relationships end well, they could culminate in something greater. But any relationship that is not going to culminate in anything greater, when I mean greater, you know what I'm talking about, marriage and so on, consummation. But outside any relationship that is not going to end in any of that, you should know that there's always a time to move forward. There's a time to move on. In the same way, a place you live, a job you're doing, anything you're doing in life, there's always a time to move on. You should always be able to know when it's time to move on, when you've overstayed, when it's time to cross over. Even Jesus in scriptures, from time to time during his missions, he will always say, let's move on to the other side. Let's go over to the other side. In life, it's of essence for you to know when to move on to the other side. It's of essence to know when to move forward and stop being stagnant in a particular thing. You see, when you overstay your welcome in something, you face the problem of either being insulted, abused, or sometimes depreciation, diminishing returns will set in. Retrogression sets in. You start noticing you start losing instead of gaining. In life, you always have to know when it's time to move on from something. And one might ask me, how do I know when to move on? Sometimes your gut feeling and your instincts will tell you when you've overstayed too long in somewhere or in something and it's time to go on. You start feeling uncomfortable. You feel that you know you have achieved everything you need to achieve at that level and it's time to move on. Sometimes people will tell you, sometimes the environment will even let you know your interest in that thing and in that place or in whatever you're doing starts dying down. You should know it's time to move on. Sometimes some people fail to even hear from God and they still stay where they are. You watching me, please. Maybe some of what you're facing today or part of what you're going through is because you've overstayed your welcome where you are. Know when it's time to move on from where you are and move, or else things are only going to get worse. They'll never get better. And you start complaining bitterly and no one will be able to help you. Kingsley Oji, number one here, man. Try to give someone out there a reason to stay alive and a purposeful living. Thank you.